We did the Southview storm sewer project. It was quite successful, and there was a considerable cost savings to the township when the township purchased the storm sewer pipe, and we had contracted the contractor to do the installation. So you're looking at on page 2 of my letter, or our memo dated May 2nd, the total cost of all the work for the drainage, the slope protection, and the guide rail totaled $879,747.55. That same work, if we have the township purchase the storm sewer pipe to be installed, is at a cost of $711,541.05. Now mind you, the storm sewer system that we have proposed to install replaces all the cross pipes that are along Coleman Road, addresses picking up additional water areas up in the area of the Pollock Road and Bednar's Market. There's some larger pipes there. There's a 24-inch and there's a 36-inch pipe there that we need to extend out so that we can widen the road when we do our road widening and protect those pipes so they're not undercut in the future. The cross pipes that we're replacing, we're looking at extending them down towards the stream. So there is no extensive long runs of pipe being installed along Coleman Road. There's one section from Route 50 up towards that area where the fire hydrant is on the first property on the right after you cross under the underpass, where we have a little bit, we've got about 300 foot of pipe being installed there. In addition to the storm sewer pipes, we're looking to install some under drains between the areas where we have the inlets, and also installing some bituminous wedge curb, so we can get this water into the storm sewer system and get the subgrade and the subbase of the road dried out.
Joe, on a high side, are you making provisions to extend those further for us when we move the road later?
Yes, yeah, we're making provisions for that.
How far does this proposal contemplate moving the road towards the high side?
We've been looking at a width of like 22 foot, so it's going to, we have everything figured out to extend the crossings out and move the inlets back where they need to be if we ever run them. Yeah, right. Is that what 5 to 10 feet, is that what you're?
You're right, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
And if the pavement ends where it does today, if we don't get the paving done this year, will that be mud over there?
No, that's, we'll have that paved around there, Tom.
Or you'll pave like eyebrows?
We'll pave eyebrows around it, yes.
I thought we had talked too at that meeting that we had with all the residents the other night also, I know I turned to Bill and asked him, would Public Works be able to put these 4 drains in we were talking about to dry the road out? Did you ever give us a price with Public Works doing it?
No, I didn't give you a price for Public Works doing the work.
I mean, that's one of the subjects I brought up. That we look at Public Works doing some of this. I mean, they install inlets all the time in cross drains and stormwater drains for us.
I mean, I can't speak for Bill and Andy, but it's an extensive amount of work. I mean, it's all, I don't know what Public Works costs would be. Maybe Bill can take our list and go back and look at it that way. I think what Joe's broken out is the materials themselves are probably worth about $150,000 in materials, so whatever Public Works labor would be. But I mean, there's thousands of feet of pipe that be installed here. I mean,
I have a question here, and it's really for Bill. Bill, with all of the other work that Public Works has, are you in any position to have your crews do this work as well?
At the meeting we had several weeks ago, we're not in a position to do all of this work. What I spoke to at that meeting was the possibility of our department putting those 4 spring boxes in where they're needed.
Putting what? Putting what?
The 4 spring boxes in where they're needed right now. We currently have springs coming down over the hill that need to be drained. We wouldn't have a problem putting those spring boxes in to get that water out of there right now. It's just lying underneath the road.
That would help us to try this out some.
In those particular areas, in those 4 areas, it would, if we could get those in now, it would help considerably.
Take care of the 4 spring boxes, but nothing else.
That's correct. That's beyond the scope of what we really are able to do
Right.
in-house.
Is this what is needed to dry out the road?
We believe it is what it needs to dry out the road.
So your opinion is that we would need to replace all the pipes?
All cross pipes, yes. And get water directly through these cross pipes so that it's not running down together and underneath the pavement. And where we're not putting storm sewers, we're proposing to put under drain and the wedge curb to get the water directly to the inlets.
Okay. And then the next step in this process would potentially be soft spot repair, or?
It could be, yes. This will help get the roads dried out, and then we would proceed with the soft spot repair and any other pavement improvements that you want to proceed with.
Okay.
I mean, just in terms of, I mean, the road is about 8,000 feet long from, Route 50 up to Grange Road. And we're only proposing about 2,300 feet of storm sewer. There's 31 inlets. When you look at that distance for inlets, that's only about 500 feet between sets of inlets, and that's pushing the maximum that we typically recommend for doing that type of work. There is a fair amount of under drain, about 6,000 feet, but you're running under drain on both sides of the road. So that's in certain locations where water is almost trapped up towards the end, up towards Grange. And
We have 5,660 feet of diagram on here that cost $113,000. I mean, that's something Public Works can't do, it's something you have to have a contractor do. And I contacted the local supplier whose contractor does the work, and they gave me a good price on it, so it's accurate.
yeah, I mean, you really don't know. I mean, our numbers are estimates based upon what we know in the last bid. But until you put something like this out for bid, you don't really know what the numbers are going to come in at. So it wouldn't hurt to go out and get prices on the work. I also, Joe and I talked about phasing of the work. I realize that you have to do the emergency work this year. There's this work related to the drainage, then we talked about the slope repairs, the guide rail, and then we didn't talk about Anger Road. Anger Road is about another $300,000 to fix the other side of Anger from the developers, and where the developer's going to do the work out the barn side. So when you combine all these together, you're up around $1.25 million in terms of total amount of work. So I think the board's got to decide how much money you want to spend, and then we'll try to fit it into the improvements, knowing that you have to spend $142 right now to do the emergency work.
The 1.1 million, that's not even paving.
That's not paving the road. We talked about paving itself being worth, another $1 million on that 8,000 feet.
Okay, and then part of the discussion we had at the meeting last week is, in addition to Coleman Road, which is horrendous, it's a danger. And as a matter of fact, there have been several people who have contacted me about whether we have liability insurance and would we be covered if the liability carrier knew the condition of these roads. And that's a very good question. But there are several other roads that are also critical. One of them is Coleman Road. We talked about Anger Road. Hickory Grade Road is another road that is in really bad shape. I think that was on Skip's list for improvements. And Mungai Hill we know about. It's the other end of the Profio Road over there. Or Grange Road. It's Grange Road, isn't it? That's Grange Road.
Yeah, it's Grange Road.
Yeah, okay. King Road, and then Hahn Road, whatever we're going to do with Hahn Road. And Coleman Road first, top priority. Hickory Grade, Anger, well, let's say Coleman and Anger, and then Hickory Grade, Mungai Hill, King Road, and Hahn Road. And my suggestion is that we...
Excuse me. Don't forget Laurel Hill.
Said that. Okay, throw that into, I haven't been on this, so I don't know, but I remember it not being very good. This is not all inclusive, but this is probably the major roads. And my suggestion, I brought this up at our meeting last week, is that we bite the bullet and do what we need to do for these roads. We borrow the money, do whichever roads we're going to do, and move on with it. We've been talking about it. I think that we have a very critical problem here with liability coverage. If there's an injury or a death or whatever on any one of these roads, because we're aware of them, we know about them, and we're not doing anything about it. We're spending a lot of money on computers and everything like that, but we're not doing anything about our roads. And I'm saying that so that you all understand it, and I want to make it perfectly clear. About $30,000 spent so far this year.
For what?
Computers, computer programs, whatever.
So, we are making steps to improve the roads. I think it would be a huge...
I've been fighting for over a year and a half, or since I came into office. Our roads are the most important thing. That's our main job, is the care of the roads, and we haven't done a damn thing for our roads. It's time that we do it.
Elizabeth, I don't agree with you saying we haven't done a damn thing. This year, we've already spent over $800,000 on a project this year. Last year, we spent over $1 million in roads. We're going to be spending over $1 million.
To get anything
Something. Do you know what, Elizabeth? You're saying we haven't done a damn thing. I disagree with you. We have done
something. Our roads are so bad.
Well, how about last year when you look at Burnside? Look at all the people that were happy with what we did in Burnside.
Go over these roads.
The roads are terrible.
They are, and there's a lot of things that need to be done.
There's a lot of roads that are...
And let's get our roads done first.
Yes, 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 yes.
But you know what, I understand that, we all are concerned. But you're talking about putting the township in millions of dollars of debt.
That's right, that's right.
And that has to be discussed and thought about before anything like that does.
I've been saying it over and over and over again, and I said, now it's time to bite the bullet.
Well, I think tonight what we have to do first, there we go. Tonight what we have to do first is we need to get a motion to go ahead and do this emergency repair.
I'll make that motion.
And that's the lowest bid being about
That would be an award,
$142,000.
that would be an award to Bauer Excavating in the amount of, sorry, I have it here.
Bauer Excavating, $142,126.25.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
142, 126.25 for Bauer Excavating.
Okay, there's been a motion. Do we have a second? It's been moved and seconded.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's been approved. Okay, now I know there's a whole lot of discussion on everything else that has to be done there. I know Elizabeth wants to spend a ton of money on it.
I want to spend whatever we need to have decent roads. We obviously are not going to work with range resources. We would have roads like Cross Creek Township and Mount Pleasant have if we would work with range resources, but we've chosen not to.
There are other things on the agenda tonight too that need to be looked at, that need to be discussed. We have the opportunity to keep the municipal authority here too, and we'll be looking down the road here because there's property next door which we have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to buy off of.
As to the municipal authority.
And so these are things that all need to be looked at, and I don't want to go ahead and just say right now we're going to throw everything. We need to look at the whole budget here and see what we can afford.
We cannot afford to spend $275,000 for an addition on the building for the benefit of the municipal authority if we cannot afford to fix our roads.
We borrow all this money in the next few years. We go spend on roads, nothing.
No, we'll have money left to spend on roads and
Paid back $3 million.
If you craft a bond
or
issue,
500, go ahead.
if you craft a bond issue, that's how most municipalities do major projects like that. And I think to Elizabeth's point, some of the roads, if we do work on them next year and the year after and the year after, they get progressively more expensive when you finally get to that year. And it's not, just like everybody borrows for their home, nobody waits till they have the cash to buy a house, you mortgage, there's nothing wrong with that. they don't do a bond issue like we do, but that's the mechanism that